Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Lovely to be together today and welcoming Nina George. She is the author of a memoir called Just a Miracle, which is her tryst with infertility. And today we also have Astha Chandra. She is a sales and marketing professional and an inner power coach. And she is one of the readers of Just a Miracle. So Astha, welcome. Tell us about your own, thought process about the book. How did you like it?
It was a very interesting read for me. So, when we are in society and we are a little different from the others, and our journey is not like bang on time, with society's norms, then how society perceives us, how they behave with us, and, what are the challenges that we face. That is everything that is encapsulated in this book. And I feel it's not only for infertile couples, it's for anybody and everybody who has gone through any form of difficulty in life. For example, your career has not taken off exactly at the age of 21. Maybe you are a person who has not done well in the 10th boards. So you are just a little different from everybody. And life has its way, things fall in place at a certain point of time. But um, so people may get married at 23, people may get married later, people may have kids earlier, people may choose to have kids later. But how is society with you? And no society is perfect. So what are the things in society that trick people and that we should change? So it's a learning in that also. And it's not a heavy read. When I talk of all these big things that people are going through pain, society is sometimes not gentle on people, sometimes not understanding. It's not as if it's a heavy read. For me, this book, Just a Miracle, has been a very easy read. I could read it like literally in one day, and I enjoyed every word of it. And it's an eye opener of how we should behave and conduct ourselves in society, and how we should be more compassionate
Wow,
with people.
that's just a
Really
beautiful
great.
review. Nina,
It's
how do you
really
feel
great.
about that?
It's really great. And then, I mean, over the last month, I've interacted with a lot of my readers, and everyone gives me a different perspective of this book.
Yeah,
Like every
yeah, this part
interaction is
I
different.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, this part which Astha said is very true that it's not a heavy book, and yet the subject is something which people have made very serious. People have made infertility or any issue connected with what they feel is a difference, right? You use the word
Yes,
different. When
yes,
someone is
yes.
different, they make it like a issue or a stigma or a taboo, and you can't talk about it. Do you feel, Astha, that by talking about this subject, Nina has just made it easier to kind of understand or discuss it?
Yes, one thing that really appealed to me about the book was the courage, the honesty that has come through, and the authenticity in the book. She has quoted some personal examples. I'm sure those people would recall the instances that she's mentioning. It's all about her personal life. So just to have that courage to stand up and say, okay, I felt bad. This is what I was processing at the back of my mind when you said that. She's not taken names. She's very gentle, but it's authentic, and those are simple examples from her day-to-day life which can resonate with you. For example, it stayed with me that she'd got a surgery done during her initial years, and then there was a cousin's wedding. And Nina, correct me if I go wrong anywhere, okay? So there was a wedding in the family, cousin's wedding, and she was resting, but she had not shared with everybody that she's gone through the surgery. So people thought she's an arrogant wife because she's from a naval background. So now she has airs and she's arrogant and she's not coming down. So little things of how she was misunderstood, of how people could not see her pain or could not understand that there may be something. If she's been there with them for so many years, yet she's not there at the wedding, there must be something that's going on with her. So there were so many examples that touched me like that.
That's a beautiful way of telling everyone. And I think because Nina is with
Yeah.
us, I want her to give her point of view. It's a beautiful way of saying that we tend to judge people so easily because we have no idea what their journeys are.
We just
Nina,
don't
your thoughts
know.
on
We just don't
Astha's
know. Yeah, I mean, Asa, thank you so much for bringing out this point in the about my book. Like, we don't know. None of us know what the opposite person is going through or will go through if we react in a different way. because I remember it is my own insecurity. That's why I didn't share it with anyone. I didn't want to be a topic of discussion there in the wedding. And for the people who knew me very well, they thought that, my God, how did she become different all of a sudden? They didn't know. They didn't know that I went through a surgery. Now it is my insecurity. Who created the issue? Me, not them actually. When we say people are bad, it's not that they are bad. Actually, like I remember telling in my speech, people would have been ready to help me, but I created a barrier between them and me. It was me, our insecurity. It is not only about them, it's about us too. So that's what I wanted to bring out. And then the thing is like, imagine me, a person who was there with them always, and all of a sudden I've become different. So what would they think? Okay, now they put two and two together. Oh, she's married into a defense with a defense officer and living in that circumstance. Maybe she's become proud. So that is, the conclusion. Therefore, A is equal to B. So that's it.
But Neena, even though you are being again very compassionate, and I think that's the running thread of the book as well.
Yes.
You're being very compassionate by saying it's not about them, it's also about me and my barriers. But the point I think which you have made in the book and which Astha has brought out beautifully is judgment. How easily we are judging, and how important it is for us to peep into ourselves and ask ourselves, Another thing about Neena's book, which I'd love if Astha would comment on it, is that it kind of reminds you that be careful about the kind of discussion and questions you ask of someone you don't know very well. Like, when did you get married? How many kids do you have? What do you think about the way she tackled all of that? Because there's a lot of that which happens with her.
Yes, it was very interesting to hear her perspective on that. So, for example, there was one story which again resonated with me where she was going through a process of, getting treatments done for having a child through her infertility journey. And there were a lot of friends and colleagues who were carrying. And when they were carrying, they were constantly sharing their stories of, whether they have morning sickness, whether they are going through XYZ. So, yes, it again brings us to the point of her insecurities or how she could have been more appreciative of it. And she's very honest throughout the book. But it also is a reminder to others, if you have something in life which, someone who's sitting in front of you has not received at that point of time, be mindful of their circumstances. So that was something which really touched me. Yes, there was a place where I felt that, okay, there's so much to be careful about. And then I thought, okay, she's sharing her feelings, but it's more to do with your gut instinct. If you feel that somebody's closing up, just change the topic. Even if you've made a mistake, you can apologize and then change the topic or drift away from it. Don't keep on persisting. She's also spoken about some stereotypical characters who, despite being aware of the circumstances, kept hankering and kept pushing. There's a lady in Kerala who, found her alone and went on and on and on about her having a child, and her husband would actually suggesting that your husband would leave you. So it's about drawing a boundary with people and knowing where to stop and knowing where, you are not supposed to intrude. Let them figure out. They must be doing something in their life. If they are going through an issue, if they perceive it as an issue, then they would be doing their best. You don't have a right to know all the details. And I like the way it was portrayed. I'm putting my perspective also.
No, it's very, very important. It's the reader is the one who actually derives the meaning, right, Neena? What do you want to say?
Of course. See, like in a Meenakshi work, like I shared my views on it and how I felt, and it is a reader who's supposed to be telling me whether my book was really worth it. Whatever I've written, has it gone down? Has my purpose been met?
Oh, it's definitely worth it. And there's one part which really, stayed with me. And that's about the part where you've had the child and you enter into, your home with your child for the first time. In fact, I have that passage. Is it okay if I read it for 5 minutes?
Of course.
Okay. So this is page number 136 on the book, Just a Miracle. And it says, after my delivery, we reached Arakonam. I hope I pronounce it correct.
Okay.
After my delivery, we reached Arakonam in March. Entering our house with Arpit was so overwhelming, something which we were not used to in almost 9 years. It was only our world, our likes and dislikes, just the two of us. Accepting a little one into a small and protected world and adjusting to the new life we knew would be a challenge for us. We also knew very well that we were going to thoroughly enjoy it. That's what we have been craving for all this while. The joy he brought into our life was immense. It was as if there was a new bounce in every step we took, a new spark in every nook and corner of the house, and with it came new challenges every day. All of a sudden, we realized everything revolved around the little bundle of joy, and thus we happily embraced the third phase of our life. The two of us became the three of us. How fast our identity changed again from infertile to parents. This time we were elated and it was happiness all around. So,
Beautiful.
yeah,
That's so
and this is something which stayed with me because we wait for so long to get something in our life, and sometimes it feels that okay, we are very late, we are behind others, we have been left out, we are not a part of that journey. But if it's destined for us, and I do believe in destiny, then it comes to us at the right time, at the right phase. And when she says miracles, for me it's like it's instantaneous. Suddenly your life can have a completely different complexion. And for me, this is also a huge book of hope. So, and that passage is what embodies hope for me. So I'll share a personal example from my life. So a few years ago, I had moved out of my job and I was looking for another job. And there was this phase where I did not know what was happening. For personal reasons, I wanted to be in Delhi. And it was like, okay, this offer is coming from Mumbai, I don't want it. This offer is coming from elsewhere, I don't want it. And sometimes you start feeling low, and then suddenly overnight I got a call in Feb. I went through the interview processes, and in March I was working again. And it was 6 months, it maybe took a little bit of time, but overnight, the minute I joined the job, I was traveling all across the country. Things changed instantaneously. So it's like when things start falling in place, they change instantaneously. And it's for people to go through that process gracefully. And in Nina's book, now again, I'm talking about another aspect. There's this chapter where she talks about she and her husband being a family, being a complete unit in themselves. I personally believe that was a different perspective on the book. I personally believe I, as a person, am complete in myself. Now, if you're married, then you too are complete. If you have a child, then that is another completion with the family. So why that stayed with me is because, she talks about living her life while going through that journey. So they were trying for a child. They were going through all the medical treatments. But in that process, they did not forget living. So, she was entertaining guests at home. She was into a lot of creative stuff. She was doing that, keeping herself occupied, going for walks, enjoying life. So if you don't have something and you keep only focusing, if you have a narrow lens that this is what I want, so then your life will come to a pause and you can't be in a space of gratitude or happiness or feeling complete within yourself. So that whole chapter of coping with life, I think that's the chapter in which it's mentioned.
Yes.
So walking, going for 10-kilometer walks, enjoying nature, doing what she had to do in life, fulfilling all her responsibilities as a wife, and her husband's support also in all those activities. That was a beautiful chapter for me.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And must be very overwhelming for the
Very
author,
overwhelming.
not only
Very
to hear
overwhelming.
a passage.
That
Yeah.
passage
Yeah.
is like, for me, like, see, I'm so touched when you read that passage because, see, when you write as an author, it's a different feeling. I'm just penning down my thoughts, but then when somebody's reading it out, it's a very different feeling. And then, like the identity change that you told, like newly married to infertile, it was very fast. An infertile couple, that was our identity always. The couple without the kids, that was always our identity. And then when there were 2-3 Georges there, and somebody asked which George, the one without the kid. So that was our identity. And from there, if it had to change to parents, And then and in a place like Tamil Nadu where we lived, people were always referred to as a child's mother or father. If it was the servants would call, that's how it is in Tamil Nadu. So like if it was for me, they would say Arpitamma. Okay, Arpit's mother, Amma is mother. So and father is Appa, so Arpitappa. So that's how they call. So from that infertility, like because when we went to Arakonam, I didn't have kids. I was already married for 6 years. So from there, if they had to call me Arpitamma, that was really, really overwhelming. I'm so happy that you brought out that passage.
Thank you.
You know, there are two parts of what Astha said. The first part, how if something is destined, it'll happen. It'll just be a right time.
Yeah.
And the second thing, which I thought, which she brought out very beautifully, is about, you know, this entire thing about how you describe your the coping mechanisms that you were such a complete person. You were enjoying life, right?
Of course.
I think, yeah, as a reader, Astha, if those are the things that you have picked up and you are a life coach and you help others cope with life, if you have picked it up, then clearly Nina's purpose is met. There is another part which another reader spoke about, which was acceptance. That even in the hardship, there is acceptance. That yes, I'm going through a tough time, but it's okay, I've accepted it. Nina, this book must be an entire journey of acceptance for you, right?
Yeah, see, actually, Meenakshi, if you ask me, that's what I've written in the book. Initial, that thing was, why me? Why me of all the people? And the doubt that, okay, has God also forsaken me? I mean, am I out, you know? Am I outcast even in the eyes of God? So those are the doubts that you have. But then later on, I realized if I continue that, my life would become miserable. So I thought the best thing in that is acceptance. So this acceptance is not only for infertility, acceptance is for any situation in life. Today morning, it's only one girl was asking me, how do I go through situations? I mean, people are mocking me and people are telling me things that you'll never be successful in life. And how do you cope up with that? And how she's going through a difficult phase in her life. So I told her, first of all, you accept that it's a reality in your life. You don't go on the defensive, like that's a reality for you. So now how to cope with it? So that's a different story, how to cope with it. But then first, acceptance gives you a lot of peace. And I think acceptance is a key to the success of our happily married life at those phases, because it's a difficult phase to go through. So many treatments and so many issues. Acceptance was the key.
Nina, because you have talked about all of this, you know, do you feel that what you have worked on, the book that you've written, do you feel that it will also help people who may not get the kind of supportive husband that you have had?
Yeah, definitely it will help, because first of all, the fact that, you know, they would be working on so many of these insecurities. So they will find out some way or the other from this book. Okay, not everybody would be supportive like my husband, supportive like my in-laws, but somewhere they would find out that it is their insecurities which is working in their mind half the time. Like in the book, I've told about sentence where, an instance where I say about the going to church, and people will be looking at my stomach. That's why I never went to church. Now looking back, I keep thinking people would have had 100 of things to look other than my stomach. It is my own imagination. So these ladies or any people going through any situations, they'll start thinking, oh yeah, what she told is so correct. People would be thinking of something else, and I'm just taking it as my own. I'm sure everybody will draw inspiration, whether their husbands are supporting them, parents are supporting them. They'll definitely find a lot of clues from this as to how to cope with life. I'm sure about it.
True. Astha, any part of it where you feel that other than infertility, there'll be other challenges that people will be able to face better when they read the book and look at Nina's journey?
Yeah, so I mentioned that in the beginning. So, you know, for me, it's a book, it's a very personal journey, and I have known Nina, so I can associate with it and all the trauma that she's gone through and that phase of acceptance, coping with life. But it's for every person who's a little different from the others. and even for people who are with them in that journey of difference, So for me, it's like I had a long time back, I had a video where I said celebrate difference on one of my channels. So, so for me, this book is about celebrating that difference and what society does to you when you are different from another person. So, there are these norms that at 18, you should have finished school, college, 21, you should do an MBA, you should become a doctor, you should do blah, blah, blah. There's a timing. And for me, I again come back to that, but it may not be in sync with the time at which you need to bloom in life, at which you bring your fruits out. You may not be ready to share. So that divine timing is different, and life cannot be the same for everybody. So this is a journey of, she has a beautiful child. She has a wonderful son who's grown up, who's in his 20s, who's so creative, so talented. I recently saw a waterfall that he had created. And who could have ever thought that she would have suffered for 9 years waiting for that child to come into her life? And that process could have been so much easier and smoother. Just because she did not have a child the minute she got married does not make her a lesser woman. Similarly, just because somebody has not, there's so many things in society which are expected of you. So one of my clients was upset because he didn't do well in his 10th standard, and now he's well into his 40s. That trauma is still with him. So, so somebody has not done well in the 10th standard. Somebody has not got their first job, which is a very high paying job. And they have started doing well in their career, let's say at the age of 30, 35, 40. Somebody chooses to get married. So those are people who are different than you, or different from the normal curve. So how do you accept people who are different, and how do you make them feel at home? How do you learn from their journey? So the book is about that for me. And it really touched me. Yeah.
That's really lovely.
Yeah.
So I think our conversation, of course, brings to the fact that, each one of us will resonate with certain things. What for me resonated with Neena was, of course, that it must be very cathartic, very, very good for her to actually let out all this, not only to inspire others, but to become stronger, within. The fact that you have gone through all of this and today you can talk about it, I think talking about it itself is such a victory, right?
Yes,
So,
yeah, actually, if you ask me, Meenakshi, for me, when I talk about victory, because you mentioned victory, for me, victory, even in an infertile journey or any other journey, victory is not really about getting to your goal. Victory is about being at peace with yourself. That is the biggest victory that you can have in any situation. Forget reaching the goal of getting a job or getting a child or whatever, but then the thing is being at peace with yourself. Every night when you sleep, if you feel at peace with yourself, that's the biggest victory that you can have. Yes, Asta.
Yeah, I was wondering that we may be running short of time, but there's something that I really want to add over here, which, Meenakshi ji, you brought out so nicely. When you talk about cathartic, for me, her book was not only, as a reader, was not only cathartic, but I can see how pain transforms a person. That whole journey leads you to a higher and a greater purpose. Yes. So in her case, the initial outset was that she was different from society, from her identity of being a young married girl, became an infertile couple, became a parent. But what did that entire process do for her? It left her with a vision, with a vision in society also to help others who are infertile couples. So she has two beautiful, visions which have come out of it. So when you go through a process which is deeply moving, distressing, it is also suffering, it makes you grow into another person. It gives you that strength. So for me, it's like that, caterpillar who's become a butterfly, and then that butterfly is sort of helping everything in society, spreading her cheer. So that metamorphosis happens there. So, she mentions in the book that her son, she was ready to accept him in any form. And then there is this entire story about how she got into teaching disabled children. And now her vision is to go back to Kerala and open a center for disabled children. So that has also come through this journey. And also, just the book, she's there to help people who are going through this journey or a lot of things which resonate with others. That is such a beautiful vision to have.
Thank you so much, Astha.
Beautiful.
Not only for sharing, but also
Yeah.
for creating this beautiful ambience where we could talk about so many things connected with the book. And
Yeah.
Nina, I think you should be so satisfied and so happy about the fact that not only have you gone through it, but you've shared it and helped others. I mean, I'm sure after reading this, I feel like I should understand people better, go a little deeper, reflect more on life and everything else. And Asta, lovely to catch up with you. I think readers are what makes an
Of
author feel
course,
complete,
of course,
right?
of course, of course, of course.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so thank you for
Yeah,
doing it.
it's been a pleasure coming here. I was very excited even to come this morning when Nina said, because I just simply love reading. And her book was like a breeze and I could resonate with every word of it. So it felt so beautiful to read it.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.